Hey everybody, it's Chad from Six Blog. Today I want to do another one of my typical post-hike gear talk videos, but I decided I'm going to do it just a little bit different. Instead of trying to cram all of the gear that I want to talk about into one long video, I'm actually going to break it up into 4 parts. This way I can talk just a little bit more on specific pieces of gear, and it'll be cut down into one video. And that way, if you don't want to watch what I talk about on some of my gear, you can just watch the specific video. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to do it in 4 parts. The first part I'm going to do is on the backpack. The second part I'm going to do is going to be on my shoes. Third part I'm going to do is going to be on my trekking poles. And then the fourth part is actually going to be a jumbo, just a mix of a couple of smaller items. So next I want to talk about, in the second video, I want to talk about my shoes. These are brand new shoes. The first time they even seen dirt was on this hike. I bought them a couple of months ago. Well, probably about a month and a half ago actually. I got them in, I tried them on, I wore them around the house for a while. They fit me okay. They're definitely a different kind of fit from the shoes that I had previously, but I was happy enough with them to decide to go ahead and keep them. I used them on this hike, and after using them on this hike, I've got a couple of thoughts about them. Now, like I said, keep in mind I only did about 14 miles. As far as the conditions that we hiked in, most of it, they had leaves all over the ground. I don't know if you can see any leaves around here, but similar to this, had dead leaves all over the ground. Had lots of rocks and roots. It's a typical Appalachian trail. And there was also some ice and snow we hiked across on parts of the trail. Like I said, only about 14 miles. The pack, like I said, was about 23 pounds heavy, so that's kind of some general conditions. As far as the shoes themselves, I want to say that these are replacing my RocLite 315s. These are the RocLite 243's. When I got these, I was really happy with my RocLite 315s, but I wanted to try and go with something a little more minimal. That's why I went with the 243's rather than 315s. And for those of you that don't know, the way that they label their shoes, when they say RocLite 243, the 243 actually stands for the weight. What they're saying is one of these shoes in a men's size 9, that's US, weighs 243 grams, and I cannot tell you the conversion as far as ounces. I might post that, I might annotate that. But anyway, so the difference is these for a size 9 weighs, for one shoe, weighs 243 grams, whereas my 315s weigh 315 grams for a size 9. Of course, I wear a size 12.5 is what I got in both of these shoes, and so of course you can figure that it's going to weigh more than 243 grams. But anyway, as far as these shoes versus my other shoes, the first thing that I noticed is the last that these are built on is completely different from my 315s. The 315s were built on a slightly wider last. I had more room around my toe box, and really that's the biggest area, kind of around the side of my foot and just in the toe box. Whereas these are much more what I'd like to call form-fitting. I don't think that they're necessarily squeezing the front of my feet together as much as they just fit closer to the front of my feet. Some people may argue that's how I explain it. That's what I get from trying them on and wearing them. Other than that, the shoes are very similar. They have the same tread on them, which is one reason I like the RocLite 315s. They had some good deep lugs, so it really grip into the soil along the AT. They're pretty sticky. They're not super sticky, but they're sticky enough to where I can feel comfortable walking across wet rocks or roots and stuff like that. I haven't really had any just disastrous falls wearing any shoes, my 315s or the 243s. So I'm pretty happy overall with the shoe. As well, they do have a plate. I can't remember exactly what they call it. I think they call it their Metashank version 3 is what is in both this same shoe as well as my 315s. So there's basically the same amount of protection underneath my foot as there was in the 315s. However, you would think, or I thought when I was looking at it, I was thinking, you know, it's got the same soles, they're the same model, so they're built with the same principle in mind. They've got the same shank in it. It's just they're a little bit lighter. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not one of these shoe buffs, but from what I can tell, the places that they cut weight was basically in the uppers. There was a little bit more. There was a little more durable mesh that covers the 315s, whereas this is more like a fabric material. There's not any plastic or nylon mesh, whatever they call it. It's just a thinner material. There's less protection around my foot. There is a toe rand on these, same as my 315s. However, I'm willing to argue that the toe rand on these are not quite as aggressive or hard as my other ones, because there was a couple of times I stumped my toe. And also, starting out this hike, I have an ingrown toenail on my right big toe, so it seemed like it was always my right toe that struck, and I could feel it. Now I'm going to say, I don't think that I'm going to be using these a whole lot more on my hikes. Simply because what I found is that because of the narrower fit, while I don't find it uncomfortable, what I do find is that I don't have as much playroom inside my shoes. Between the narrower fit and the less protection, that might not be a good way to explain it, but the less materials up top, seems like there's less protection for my foot. So those times that I hit those rocks and those roots, I could really feel it. Whereas with my other ones, it wasn't quite so bad. With my 315s, it seemed like even though I hit it, I had a little bit of playroom in there, so I didn't really feel it quite as much as I do with these. So to be honest, right now, I'm thinking that I'm going to set these aside and use these for, I need to be running just at a local park. We have an off-trail loop that I can do. It's like 2 miles. And I think these would be something great for that. Places that's not going to have a lot of hidden rocks and roots, and places that don't get tripped up. Like I said, they're comfortable shoes to me. Just the amount of protection is not as much as I was planning or hoping for. Despite the fact that there's technically just as much protection, at least underfoot, in the 243's as there are the 315s. So anyway, guys, that's just kind of a rundown on my thoughts on these shoes. Like I said, I'm not a buff, so if I got something wrong, feel free to correct me. Just have a little bit of sense about doing it, because if you want to come on and be a butt and correct me, I'm just going to erase your comment. But anyway, guys, so that's the RocLite 243's. If you have any comments, questions, just post them below, and I'll do my best to reply to them or answer any of those questions. And guys, I appreciate you watching. See you later.